David Cronenberg exposes a hit piece. Gwyneth Paltrow wants to bang in peace. And Neil Blomkamp returns to the world of sci-fi.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete.
And I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
What?
Are you expecting? We're expecting a rootin' tootin' Tyler.
Yeah, no, just like, and I'm Tyler, as if like you're the only two.
And I'm Tyler.
What? I just said my name. I don't
It was the cadence of which like I'm Pete and I'm Tyler, as if like that's the end of the introductions.
Oh, like I was punctuating it with a period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put an emphasis.
And I'm here too, I guess.
Joseph's here, technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, thank you for joining us on YouTube Live and otherwise, and of course, all the OG classmates listening in audio-only podcast land.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, you should come over to the YouTube. It's a lot of fun. We're here now. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to
Joseph, you too. Welcome back. I was here the whole time.
be back.
In the vicinity.
In this,
Yeah.
my
immediate
house.
vicinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my
Yeah.
house.
What do they call it? It's Steady Eddie. Or no, Steady Pete.
That's right, Steady Petey.
Yeah, Steady Petey.
Steady Petey.
Yeah, Steady Petey.
And but yeah, last week we weren't streaming because why, Tyler?
Well, my sister, she got hitched.
Yeah.
And I have a new brother in the family. Yeah,
Oh, that's so sweet.
It was a gay old time, and I couldn't have been more happier for her.
You didn't look happy in the pictures.
It's like you were guarding the wedding.
You look like you had disdain. You're like love.
Yeah,
Fuck love.
It's the aviators.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, if anyone who follows me on social media or any of my family members, I don't know why you would, but yeah, there's pictures of me looking like a Secret Service agent.
You're ready to take a bullet for your sister.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
right.
See, that was my role. That was my position. Like,
Well,
You gave it yourself.
I'm the big brother.
It was it looked beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Mary
It was-
yeah,
yeah.
it was-
Congratulations, MacKenzie.
Yeah. Congratulations, Kenzie, who's a class clown. She's a Patreon member.
Yeah, and she will very much appreciate us talking about her nuptials.
Yes, it was great. It looked great. I'm not gonna say I was upset I wasn't invited because we don't have that relationship.
Well,
That's the difference when if my sister got married, Tyler would say, "Where's my invite?"
you know what? That kind of, isn't your sister already married? I thought.
No, she's divorced.
Oh.
I mean, technically, yes, she has been married.
Oh, where's my invite?
There you go, on brand. Also, breaking news. Brianna made me these Valentine's Day decals. They're a little small,
Yeah,
but they're for the show.
They're like a
can't-
holographic.
you can't see it, but it says middle class
Pokemon
film class
cards.
on it.
Yeah, it says middle class film class. You can't even see
Yeah.
the damn things.
No, you can't. But
So
They
if
don't
you,
focus that close.
yeah, no. If you want to cop, it's like hologram little VHS tapes, and it says middle class film class. And very,
I already put one on my phone.
yeah, very tiny yellow font. If you want one and you're listening, just send us a message or send us an email at mcfcpodcast@gmail.com and give me your address, and I'll just put it in an envelope and mail it out to you.
Yeah.
We got some other the old ones too. I'll throw some in there too.
Yeah.
If you're on the stream, you're listening, send them out.
If you want one, type "I'm horny" in the chat.
Yeah.
Right on.
If you want one, say
Yeah.
I'm a dirty little mud grub. You dirty little mud grub. Thank you. And then also big news before we get into the movie news.
Oh my God, you're pregnant.
No, we're not. I'm not pregnant, but we are monetized. So when you you hit the live stream, this time to watch us, you probably notice that there's an ad at the beginning of this.
And you're like, God, I don't want to watch
You're
this.
like, fuck this. Sellouts. And then the YouTube videos that we released 2 weeks ago, I watched it and popped it up, and it was like pulp with had a pre-roll ad.
Yeah.
I had a mid-roll ad. I'm like, holy shit, look at that. So you may be asking, what kind of scratch are we returning here? So there's no secrets here at Middle Class Film Class.
Very transparent.
Yeah, Tyler is recently diagnosed with scabies.
Wait, really?
And scurvy.
And yeah.
Wait, so what?
And Legionnaire's disease.
Oh wow.
Yeah, chiggers.
I'm very infirmed right now.
Also, trench foot.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, transfer. I know, my stinky feet.
But we also are very open about the loads of money that are going to be coming in now. So, Joseph, do you want to switch over to the monetization page?
Take a look.
We did it.
We're rolling in it.
What does that say?
92 cents.
Oh my God.
$0.92, fellas. We have arrived.
Oh, finally.
What do you think about the fact that we've ascended now?
Well, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's funny because I'm such a narcissistic person. Like I go
get
back
that off the screen. I don't want to look at it. I'm depressed.
I'm such a narcissistic person that I'll go back to previous episodes and like watch us like, like Gab and Chatter and all of that stuff. And the first time that I did it, which was I believe it was last week, I clicked on the video and an ad popped up and I was like, and I giggled to myself. I was like, oh my God, like there's an ad.
We're cogs in the machine.
It's like, there's an ad right here. No, the machine. No, we needed to be a cog in the machine. It was well deserved that we finally crossed over to that threshold. So, yeah.
So a lot of fun.
We did it.
We'll see if there's some changes to the channel now, but
I did it.
This is going to be the last week of our original format, or this iteration of our format. So we'll talk about that.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
At the end of the stream, and we'll talk about that.
It's almost like a season finale.
Kind of, yeah.
End of an era.
Yes. So
Cha-ching.
we're going to change the name of the show, too.
Yeah.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tyler and Company.
Yes. All right, I can.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be CCP podcast. Glorious leader, shine upon us.
Yes.
Give us your I don't know, whatever he's gonna give us.
I don't know.
All right, enough gab and pre-gab. Time for proper news. Gab and chatter.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for gab and chatter.
Gab and chatter, movie news of the week. Tyler, what do you got for us?
All right, this comes from Variety.com. A much beloved director, creator, David Cronenberg, says the Brutalist AI controversy was a Harvey Weinstein kind of campaign spurred by other Oscar nominees. And then he goes on to saying, we mess with actors' voices all the time. And so the article, I mean, I'm going to read it verbatim. I know you guys don't like that, but I'm just going to do it. So legendary horror director David Cronenberg has his own thoughts as to why the backlash against the use of AI in The Brutalist was so strong. Back in January, The Brutalist editor...
David?
Well, it says David, I think, but it has like a little like asterisk or
tilde on it.
Divide. Yeah, it has divide.
Just say, I think it's just David.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna say it American way. David Jansko said AI tools were used to improve the Hungarian dialogue of stars Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones. The use of the controversial tech soon caused an online outcry against the Oscar front-runner, but Cronenberg believes the backlash was more than just a social media spat. I don't know where Harvey Weinstein comes into place,
so Harvey Weinstein was famous for basically like doing this sort of shit. He would stand up in the middle of a screening and basically say, this movie's bullshit, I'm not funding it, fuck this movie, and walk out. And then other people would be afraid to take action because he was a vindictive cunt.
And a rapist.
Yeah, that too. Confirmed.
And his dick is rotting off.
Yeah, so he basically had these like sort of dirty backdoor, not even backdoor, but like dirty out in public tactics to fuck with movies that were his competition.
I see. Okay. So
what do you think about that, Tyler? You think that the AI use in the voice is warranted or what?
Well, Cronenberg, he said that I must confess there was a scandal with The Brutalist via the London's Royal Festival Hall, which he attended. There was a discussion about Adrian Brody, but apparently they used artificial intelligence to improve his accent. I think it was a campaign against The Brutalist by some other Oscar nominees, which he doesn't say whom. it's very much a Harvey Weinstein kind of thing, though he wasn't around. So with your point being that he would do that sort of thing, like that makes sense now. I had no idea. He continued, we mess with actors' voices all the time. In the case of John Lone in M. Butterfly, when he was being this character, this singer, I raised the pitch of his voice, and when he's revealed as a man, I lowered to his natural voice. This is just part of movie making. So now I get Cronenberg's like argument where that AI was used. I mean, like, it kind of gets me wondering. It's like, well, okay, what is AI? Like in this sort of context.
We have
like,
time for this in this segment.
Well, no, because I'm going to be really quick about it.
Okay.
Like, but in this context, it's like, okay, so if they're just pitching his voice into more of a Hungarian dialect, or not dialect, accent, then I feel that it's not sort of out of the realm of reality based on what Cronenberg was saying. I think what the problem lies in with AI is replacing like writers and animators and that sort of positions in the film industry. But in this context, I feel that it's justified in a way. And I think that's what David Cronenberg is saying, like, well, it's
Like
not
it's not that far off from shit we already do, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that he was like trying to like temper people down and say like, look, like, you know, we mess around with people's voices and stuff all the time. It's not that far off, and like, because the technology is there, we're going to utilize it. However, it doesn't justify anything of using AI as like, you know, creating scripts or like doing the animation work and stuff like that. Like if they're only using it in a way where like it still
polishes the work that's already there.
Exactly. So I think
Joseph, what do you think about that?
In the specific case of the Brutalist,
Yeah, sure.
And knowing after all the information has come out by now, because when it was first released, it was like, oh god, his entire performance, his entire speaking lines was done by a robot.
He stayed home, actually. He was leaving on set.
Yeah. But after like what they did with it, and it wasn't the same as like generative AI, which is really the big controversy.
I agree with
AI controversy is filmmakers and artists and any other outlet using generative AI. That's the big problem. In this case, they used a specific company called Respeecher, which didn't replace anybody's job. It actually added more jobs to this specific job, specific movie, and it wasn't like it wasn't a generative AI type of program,
right.
And the intention also behind the choice to do that was because the editor is also Hungarian, and him and Brady Corbet, they did it with the intention of just like, we wanted to make sure that a Hungarian person watching this movie wouldn't be able to tell that it's like
not Hungarian.
It's not a true Hungarian accent. I think the backlash was mainly just people thought that Adrian Brody, his performance was altered in a way to make it better than it was.
I'm on board with pretty much all that. I think that for me, the biggest thing that makes it like not a huge deal in this is because, number one, it is not generative. You're not taking someone else's work and then remixing it with a fucking computer and spitting out a piece of art and just putting it on screen. But also, that's how different is that than ADR? You take a bad line, you do ADR, you make the scene better. Boom, done.
I mean, I think that's what Cronenberg was trying to get at,
much.
because like I remember like when that whole controversy came out, like, oh, there were like in a previous episode that we did, like you guys were like, oh, there's AI using the Brutalist. Ah, god damn it.
I have a little bit of a bit to contribute to this. So Respeecher, the program and or the company has been used in Better Man, the Robbie Williams movie, The Brutalist, here, the Robert Zemeckis one with Tom Hanks, where it's just one location.
Yeah.
It's like lockdown shot of a living room or whatever. Alien Romulus, Amelia Perez, Niad, Dangerous Waters, and The Exorcist Believer. And also in video games like Cyberpunk 2077 and God of War Ragnarok.
Really?
Yes. So, and on top of that, Reese Beecher has also co-opted a bill called the No Fakes Act to protect individual voices and likenesses from unauthorized recreations like deepfake. They're very staunch that they're saying, you know, if you're using this, we're using your actual voice for this project. We're not aggregating it into a database so you can just recreate you whenever we want for voice. It's like, so it seems like it's an ethical use of advanced technology, not what most people consider AI.
Not just like type in a prompt
Yeah.
and say, make this sound Hungarian.
Yeah. Make the guy from The Pianist sound like a Jew.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Enter,
Scarlett
go.
Jo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's in such a small percentage of his performance. It's only when he is actually speaking Hungarian, and also Felicity Jones is
yeah.
speaking Hungarian, which is not a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
There is another aspect of the movie that is allegedly used generative AI and is
Yeah.
a sort of like
The building.
as like a middleman type of role, to the extent of which I don't know.
We don't know.
I have no idea.
Anything else, Tyler, before we move on?
Nope, that is it. Thank you, David Cronenberg, for tempering the
witch hunt.
Weird. Of the Brutalist.
Yeah.
I heard it's really great.
Before
I won't watch it.
I got my 4Ks in the mail on my way to me right now.
I know.
is that right?
Mine is too.
I can't wait to rewatch it. So before we move on, Angry Otter in the chat dropped us a $5 donation.
Aww.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Is his name really Angry Otter? Is that on his driver's license?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow.
His last name is Reacts,
Yeah,
actually.
it's Angry Otter, middle name Otter, last name Reacts.
Yeah. The second.
And then he's got a great point. He says, sorry, but if musicians can release albums of completely auto-tuned songs, there's no scandal in enhancing an actor's speech. 100%.
Yeah.
But we are also allowed to compare somebody like Kesha to Celine Dion. Celine Dion doesn't use auto-tune. Kesha is a human auto-tune. So, anyways.
Auto-tune was a person.
That's my girlfriend you're talking about,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, you and Jerry
Keisha?
said both.
Yeah, Keisha.
$, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph, what do you got?
Okay. I have a story about the sort of Marty Supreme is a movie by Josh Safdie, one half of the Safdie Bros, the other half being Benny Safdie, who's making his own movie as well with The Rock, about a wrestler or a boxer, I believe.
The human pain machine or something like that?
Yeah. Josh Safdie is making a movie about a biopic about a ping pong player. So they're both making sports biopics in a way.
Cool. Okay. Ping pong's a sport.
And title
It
is
That's right.
Marty Supreme, starring one Timothée Chalamet, and apparently Gwyneth Paltrow was in it as well.
Wow, she's still getting work. Nice.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She's hasn't been in a movie recently. I think Marvel was one of the last roles that she took.
Pepper Potts.
As Pepper,
Yeah, Pepper Potts, yeah.
Pepper Potts. And she's calling this, although she was in a TV show called
Grey's
the
Anatomy?
Politician or something.
That's Ellen Pompeo you're thinking of.
This is her return to acting, apparently. Return to movie acting.
The goop money dried up.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's no longer goopy
Dusty
anymore.
old goop now.
And so she
It's just crusty.
did an interview with Vanity Fair as a part of a cover story for this return to acting in Marty Supreme. And Paltrow revealed for the first time that she is starring as the wife of a rival professional who falls into bed with Chalamet's star.
So this is basically just The Prestige.
Yeah, but with ping pong.
Got it.
She says this woman who is married to someone who is in the ping pong mafia, as a word. They meet, and she's had a pretty tough life, and I think he breathes life back into her. But it's kind of transactional for them both. And there apparently there's some BTS like paparazzi type photos of Chalamet and Paltrow making out while filming a scene. They were just making out, and the camera was just rolling.
Yeah, there.
Nice.
They got that on camera.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Nice.
According to Paltrow, the two co-stars will be getting even more hot and heavy in the movie.
Full penetration.
She says, I mean, we have a lot of sex in this movie. There's a lot. A lot, she emphasizes. Filming sex scenes with Chalamet introduced Paltrow to an intimacy coordinator. Have you guys heard of the position of intimacy coordinator before last year?
Yes, before last year. Yeah.
When did you hear about it?
Few years. I don't know. Because we read news stories for the show a lot. So sometime in the run of our podcast.
Because it's I feel like that job has come a lot more to light in the recent years.
Yes, it has.
Because before last year, I never heard of it.
Really?
No.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Joseph. I haven't heard of it since last year.
I just thought it was something that was kind of standard on set. Like you have a weaponsmith, you got a master armor, and you got a cocksmith. Yeah.
I mean, like I just thought that the director was like, okay, go at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought
probably up to a certain point in movie history, that's probably how it was.
But I mean, I'm ignorant.
Right,
I'm ignorant.
Fuck now.
Yeah. Fuck now.
Now it's time for the fucking.
Yeah.
Let's talk more fucking. Time for a fucking.
Great stuff.
So Gwyneth Paltrow says apparently she had never heard of something intimacy coordinator before either. Because she says
she has been in sex scenes.
There's now something called an intimacy coordinator, which I did not know existed. So she's also new to this. So there was no intimacy coordinator on Shallow Hal, I guess. With
I was gonna say, I was like, wait a minute.
When he holds the giant panties in front of her. Noting that when Marty Supreme's intimacy coordinator asked her if she'd be comfortable with a particular move during the filming of an intimate scene, I was like, girl, I'm from the era, and back in my day, is what it sounds like. Yeah. Back in my day, I'm from the era where you get naked, you get in bed, the camera's on.
That's exactly
whether you're on the film set or not.
Yeah. We said, I think we're good. You can step a little bit back. Like, whoa here. Paltrow added of not relying on an intimacy coordinator with Chalamet. I don't know how it is for kids who are starting out, but if someone is like, okay,
kids,
and then he's going to put his hand here, I would feel as an artist very stifled by that. And then she went and said, I was like, okay, great. I'm 109 years old. You're 14.
Okay, that's a weird thing to say.
I know. She was on set, saw Chalamet, and she was like,
man, that 15-year-old's pretty hot.
Oops.
You're overshadowing my joke.
I stepped on it.
I don't know, man. That 15-year-old's pretty hot.
That's a red flag.
Yeah. She said he's just a very polite, properly raised. I was going to say kid.
He's 29 years old.
He's a man who takes his work really seriously and is a fun partner. If you know what I mean.
That's what she said. If you know what I
No.
mean.
I added that. But yeah, while Paltrow has played Pepper Potts in several Marvel movies and had a supporting role in the Netflix series The Politician, she's viewing Marty Supreme as her first serious acting role since 2010's Country Strong. So the Pepper Potts was not a serious acting role.
Yeah, I was going to
Got
say
it.
that. All right. Well, I mean, good for Tim.
Whether or not Paltrow could still pull off a vulnerable role fueled her self-doubt, but she luckily had a famous friend who was also stepping back in front of the camera after more than a decade, who was Cameron Diaz, who ended an 11-year acting hiatus by starring in the Netflix movie Back in Action. What a movie to come back to.
Really.
Right?
I mean, you gotta come
I'm not surprised that they're best friends, Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow.
They look the same.
They look like they would be best friends.
They look the same.
They look like they were either currently are or former Mormons.
You know what? I've been described that way before, and I take offense to that. You either are or used to be a Mormon.
But yeah, so she's filming sex scenes with Timothée Chalamet and telling intimacy coordinators to not do their job.
Yeah,
I wonder how Tim feels
step back. I want him in me.
I wonder how Tim feels about it. You know, like
I'm sure he's happy.
I'm sure he is too. I mean, I like. Well, I mean, he's my mortal enemy, so like, I'd like to get in his head.
I thought that was the Penguin.
No,
the Penguin.
Yeah.
No, not the Penguin.
Oh, because he's Batman.
Because he's the Sacramento Batman.
Oh,
He's more like the Scat Man.
Anything else, Joseph?
No, but I feel like intimacy coordinators aren't just for like the actors themselves. It's like for everybody else on set.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's good. I mean, if it depends. It's just like if you got a script supervisor who's like, hey, you said that one inflection slightly wrong. There's a comma there instead of a exclamation point or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, how hands-on do you want to be correcting the script? Some directors are like, fucking just do whatever you want as long as the message gets across. Some directors, like probably Fincher, it's probably like, this script is exactly, move the flower pot in the back here. We're going to set this
Do
up.
it as it is written.
Correct. So intimacy coordinators, I'm sure that's a scale. You know, either, okay, before you touch this person's hip, are you okay with that? It's like, if I go walk over and touch Joseph on the shoulder, you can...
Okay, we got
Then it's like that's not
cut the stream.
yeah. It shouldn't be a problem if I could touch you, you know, in a different capacity.
Yeah.
But maybe some people are a little more sensitive to that. So whoever the people are on set, whoever the people who are in the scene, that's who matters, you know?
I mean, it just makes logical sense, though, because, like, of course, like, there's going to be a director which it's out of their scope of dealing with human intimacy. Like, they can write it on the script and like, they can say, like, oh, I want you to do this, that, and the other. And then the actor's like, I don't know if I want to do that. And so then you have the, like, liaison of someone.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well...
They speak the language. They understand people's sensibilities or whatever.
David Lynch, I know you're dead, but this is how we need to do this.
I've directed
That was the worst thing you've ever said.
I've directed a sort of sex scene.
You did?
It's more of like, I mean, I guess they have sex, but it's more like they're just making love.
All right.
And like early.
There's a difference?
In like 2012. Like one of my second short film, and it was weird, for sure. Like I like everybody who doesn't need to be here, get out of the room. I just need the camera and audio.
Angry Otter wants to know how hands-on the intimacy coordinator was during the peach scene for Call Me by Your Name.
Oh, for Luca.
Yeah.
That I would love to know.
I want to know the intimacy coordinator for Antichrist when Willem Dafoe's Wang was out and everyone was uncomfortable.
I would be surprised if there even was one on that.
No, Lars von Trier was like, no, we don't need that. Or safety coordinator.
Yeah, or safety.
Anything, really.
Safety coordinator.
They modeled his dick and they had to actually size it down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, they didn't want to change the lens out for the wide angle.
There's a lot of penises for that audition.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
But yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. So for my news story, a couple things. Number one, not a huge thing, but Conan's coming back to the Oscars. He's going to be
he's hosting again.
Conan's hosting for
thank God.
2026.
Oh, thank God.
Who's a fantastic host, in my opinion. I think he did great. And he had
one of the best hosts that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
The Oscars.
Yeah, taking the piss out of celebrities one by one.
Timothée Chalamet is up for Best Actor tonight. You're amazing. And you look amazing.
On the Timothée Chalamet topic.
I bow to you. Love that suit. You will not get hit on your bike tonight.
And by the way, his suit was garbage, but
no, it's great.
No,
it's great.
It looked like Curious George's dad.
Yeah, Curious George's handler.
It looked lame.
The man with the yellow hat. But yeah, so Conan's
You just
coming
wish
back.
you had that suit.
Thought it was cool.
What?
You wish you had that suit.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Love him. I've always been a huge Conan fan. But then more specifically, something that I think is going to divide fans of the original movie. Neil Blomkamp's coming to make a remake of Starship Troopers.
I thought that was a joke.
No,
like
that's real.
Like an AI generated thing.
It's happening. Sony is behind the new adaptation, but it's not a remake of the '97 film.
Just a new adaptation.
Instead, it's a different adaptation of the original text. So the original novel was written in 1959, which is kind of interesting to think about. But
I wonder what route he'll take with it. Because Verhoeven took the route that people didn't like.
Yeah, I like it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
No, it's great, but he really made it satirical.
Yeah. It's almost like satire that no one took as a satire at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Neil Blomkamp is kind of like Shane Carruth, like, of the film industry. Like, no one wants to work with. I'm surprised that they even gave him this IP. Like,
well, he just did Gran Turismo and made a shit ton of money for them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I forgot.
Yeah, it was good.
I forgot about Gran Turismo.
The last director I would have thought to make a movie like that, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Blomkamp. He's great. Chappie's fantastic. District 9's fantastic. Demonic was disappointing.
I always get him confused with Gareth Edwards.
Interesting.
Because they have similar
They do.
styles.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You could say that Gareth Edwards could have directed District 9.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah, I could see it too.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I think it would be a different take, but originally the 1959 novel was basically told of an interstellar war between Earth and a host of bug-like aliens that focused on the rise of the military serviceman named Johnny Rico. Bugs. But the story had other things on its mind, like exploring the strengths of life in a military society and such ideas as having to perform service in order to have voting rights. So
And become a citizen.
That's the part of it that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I read, a lot of comments about this because I saw this.
That's where we're heading in our current country. Yeah.
Sure. But I mean, like in the movie, remember they had, when he's signing up for service, they have the guy that's signing him up has no legs and one fake arm, like one mechanical arm.
Right.
And you're like, it's kind of played almost like a joke, but almost like a be warned sort of a thing,
Right. Yeah. That's kind of how I thought. It was like a premonition.
Like like this is no joke. They're gonna get fucked up in this, which is true. But apparently in the book they do that. They specifically mention they do that on purpose. They have former servicemen with missing limbs doing the promotion so that it warns the people coming to say this is real. We're not gonna try to bamboozle you.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do like the NFL and sign up like 12 18-year-olds for service on the fucking right before the kickoff, in the middle of the stadium, make it seem like this whole big thing.
If only they did that with our current military.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like the current military, they post up outside of unemployment offices and high schools and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's going to be great.
You can get a Dodge Charger.
Yeah, they don't talk about the bad stuff. They just say
you can get free LASIK surgery.
Yeah, and it's like, and I got mad respect for people who serve. A lot of my family members have served.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like being honest and earnest about what the side benefits and the negatives and all that kind of stuff. And in Starship Troopers, they specifically say you don't have to be an able-bodied, buff guy to go serve. You can be like one of his teachers is blind in the movie.
Yeah,
that's straight from the book. You can serve in other ways.
Did you read the book?
No, I did not. I've just read text from other people. So I just think it's interesting. And as much as I love Starship Troopers, Paul Verhoeven's version. I'm open to the idea of Blomkamp, and I'm really happy to see him coming back to the world of like aliens and sci-fi.
I am as well. I mean, because he has a very great eye for aliens, like especially in District 9, like those aliens are very creative. It's something that you would see, like it's something that you would imagine like what an alien would look like, like in a movie. I mean, you think about like those like old 50s like campy horror movies, like The Original Thing and stuff like that, or like Plan Space from Outer Nine.
Oh yeah, that jam.
Plan Space from Outer Nine,
or Plan 9 from Outer Space. I don't know what the fuck it is.
The hard thing is going to be beating the design of the bugs from Paul Verhoeven's version because they're fantastic.
Well, I mean, the original Starship Troopers is just it's
so good.
It's iconic.
I know, it really is.
It'd be weird to
it's a big ask.
Make a remake of a movie that was adapted from a book. I know he's not doing that, but like, can you imagine? I'm remaking Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
which is already a story.
Someone asked him on the press tour, how faithful is it to the book? And he goes, book? What?
What do you mean a book?
Yeah. What's that? So anyways, that's kind of exciting for me. I mean, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in with low expectations and hopefully I'm blown away by it. But you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
So without further ado, let's get in some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks. Movies that we watched on our streaming services this week that you can watch on yours too. Tyler, lead us off.
All right, I have several of them, so I'm gonna just
keep it brief. Remember, we got a time limit on this
I know, we're tight on time.
You got two more hosts that need to do their stream.
All right, so I'm just gonna go off with The French Connection and French Connection 2, starring Gene Hackman. I'm gonna say this: The French Connection one was Oh my God, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. And the reason why I like it is because of the futility of it all. Like, so like it starts off with Gene Hackman and his partner trying to bust, like they're like kind of has been like detectives, like they're kind of like on the brink of like losing their jobs essentially.
Okay.
And then Gene Hackman is like, oh wait, I have this lead on a heroin bust. And so he goes and he like follows this lead, like he's like basically manic about it. And it's not even that big of a case, but I remember the sergeant, it's either the sergeant or the lieutenant or whatever, I don't know how the rankings work, but he was saying to Gene Hackman's character, like, this better not be a nickel and dime bag bust. And he's like, no, it's gonna be big. And he does catch on to it, but ultimately they never bust the big bad. And so at the end of the movie, they leave it a little bit ambiguous because there's like the shootout with like the police and everything, because they eventually find like the French Connection and it's never solved. And then the epilogue where like it shows like the credits at the end of the scene, they get demoted. Like they failed at their job. And I love when like media does that, where like they like kind of crescendo up to like this sort of like big.
Are you telling me the spoiler for the end of this movie?
Have you seen it before?
No, I've not.
Oh, well, sorry.
It's kind of my fault. The movie's like 50 years old.
It's from 1971. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And then we move on to the sequel, which is, it's a good movie, but it's not as great as the first one. And then, well, I won't spoil the second one,
Please
but
don't.
but the ending of the second one, like, I groaned inside and I was like, really? That was it. But the consistent acting chops of Gene Hackman was incredible. It was incredible.
He's
like
the best.
He's
Was
so
the best.
He's so good. He's so good in like everything he does, which segues off to my next streaming pick. Oh, I'm sorry. These are all streaming on Amazon Prime.
Cool,
I should have
cool.
prefaced that. My third streaming pick, The Royal Tenenbaums. Never seen that movie before, but like I know a lot of people in high school, they were talking about it. I never cared to watch for it, and so I just kind of like put it aside. Like I didn't even have a blip of a thought of this movie. And then I because I was on like this Gene Hackman like ride, I was like, well, let's check out Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
Also streaming on Amazon Prime. And that movie was surprisingly really good. I think they call it the weaker of Wes Anderson movies.
That depends on who you ask. I know a lot of people that's their number one.
And
I love it.
Disagree with that.
I don't think it's
Disagree with being in the weaker one?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't think it's weak at all. I think what the fuck is it called?
Darjeeling Limited.
Yeah, that one I would say was probably the weaker one. Royal Tenenbaums had me laughing so much because of Gene Hackman's like just assholeness of being this patriarch of a person, and like he's living in this hotel and then eventually gets kicked out of the hotel, and like it almost, the movie almost runs like a sitcom. And then eventually it takes a dark turn, and Luke Wilson and Owen Wilson were incredible in that movie. I think, and then also Gwyneth Paltrow is in that movie as well. And she plays a significant pain in the ass. And just like an overall crappy person. And mostly all of the people in that movie are crappy people. And then we have like, you know, Morticia in there as well, who is just a stone cold fox.
I gave her some respect. Angelica Houston.
Well, I didn't know her name. So.
Okay.
And so I watched the Royal Tenenbaums. That is just a 10 out of 10 movie. I really
Good.
enjoyed myself, and I thought what took me out of the movie a little bit was the indie music that they peppered in like throughout the movie. I thought that was a little bit jarring, but it made me nostalgic because it came out like what in 2000. Yeah, it came out in 2001, and so that it was a little nostalgic because it had like all that indie music, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember those times. But I really, really enjoyed the Royal Tenenbaums. So the next movie that I watched was Moonstruck.
Oh, hell yeah. Now we're talking.
I watched this last night, actually, and it made me love again.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was the corniest thing I've heard you say.
Really?
And the realist.
Well, I mean, I don't know what sue me then.
I lost my hand. I lost my bride. He didn't lose his hand. He didn't lose his bride.
Cher just is angelic as ever.
She's great.
And she's just so gorgeous. And
hell yeah.
This movie really so this was a movie that I've seen to give context for our listeners and for you guys. I always saw the cover of Moonstruck when I would go to Blockbuster Video or Hollywood Video, and it has a really great VHS cover, and it always stuck out to me, and it stuck with me throughout my whole lucid adult life. But I just never checked it out for whatever reason. I would just always remember the cover looking good, kind of like the Scrooge VHS cover.
Oh, Scrooged,
yeah, Scrooged. It just it always stuck out to me. And then last night, after I got off of work, well, I mean, there's kind of a funny story leading up to me watching Moonstruck, but I won't get into that because we're on time.
Thank you.
But so I put it on. It's on Amazon Prime, and holy crap! Nicolas, I think this is one of Nicolas Cage's best performances.
I can agree with that.
I mean,
it's really good.
I think I can appreciate the over dramatic acting of it all. It's because at first I feel people could be turned off by it because it is really over. It's rarely over dramatic. But at the same time, once you get into the movie, it's only an hour and 48 minutes, I believe, and it does not feel that way at all. I was an hour in, I was like, it's already almost done.
I can imagine that Ronnie Camilleri is your new adopted personality, sweating it out in the basement of a bakery with one wooden hand and a wife beater on.
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you watched some good movies. Those are good movies.
Yeah. Well, and then I have an anti-streaming pick.
Okay.
Damn, 5 movies.
Yeah, I have an anti-streaming pick.
I mean, I'm not complaining. We're just on the one day we got to get out of here on time.
Okay. Well, this one is streaming on Netflix. This is Midnight in the Switchgrass, starring Bruce Willis and Megan Fox.
Oh boy.
And Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay. Oh boy. All right.
Still this new.
Yeah, that movie. I just felt sad because this was one of Bruce Willis's last movie, and he was barely in the movie because of his unfortunate condition that he's currently going through right now. So the movie starts out strong.
What's it about? The name means nothing to me.
Okay, so
Midnight in the Switchgrass?
Yeah,
Midnight in the Switchgrass. So
Emil Hirsch is in this.
Yes, I forgot Emil Hirsch was in that too. He wasn't that great in it either. So it starts out with it kind of starts out like True Detective. That's what really
There's a cultist murder.
No,
in the
it's
very
not.
beginning.
It's not cultist, but a prostitute gets murdered, and then Emil Hirsch, who plays a state PD, he goes on to the scene of the crime, and he recognizes a pattern of previous murders, and then it kind of cascades into sort of an investigation of a serial killer. And so it starts out strong. I was like, okay, I love Emil Hirsch, I love Bruce Willis, Megan Fox is a fox. Machine Gun Kelly, he needs to go to more acting classes. So it's basically about finding this serial killer who's killing prostitutes in bumfuck nowhere, South America, not South America, but southern continental United States. And yeah, this isn't. It starts off strong, and then I feel like they ran out of money in the end because it sort of just ends. Like it doesn't like there's no like big like peak sort of
finale.
It kind of just like pitters out, and I was like, that's it. There's no Yellow King. There's no Rust.
This has 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Damn.
Yeah. It's,
Wait.
8%.
8% what? Critic or audience? Overall?
That's just the
just
that's the critics.
Just 8%.
That's critics. Let me tell you what the
people love it.
I mean, it's a short watch, but there's a lot to be desired, and I think the idea that they had was really great. And the cinematography is pretty good as well. It's just I don't think they had the money, and
audience score 20%.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Like I mean, it's
top
it's
review on Letterboxd, more like Midnight in the Shit Grass. 1.5 stars by Paulington.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to be disappointed on a Netflix movie, check that out, I guess. But
okay.
Cool.
Yeah. That's all I got.
All right, Joseph, how about you? What do you got?
Okay. I'm just going to go with... I had a couple of rewatches, but I'll just skip those.
Yeah.
I'll go worst to first, starting with Fall.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that movie, Fall?
It's funny. I almost brought that up because Brianna watched that. I was in and out of the room, so I'm not going to count it. But
So this came out in 2022, and it kind of had this whole like rating adjust because they replaced the dialogue and with the they replaced the curse words with
PG-13 words.
non-curse words.
That was one of the first movies we actually reported on this show that used AI technology in the movie.
I can tell that they did it.
I could tell.
No, I said I couldn't tell.
Oh.
I couldn't tell that they did that. But it's not a very good movie. It's basically, if you've seen 47 Meters Down, it's pretty much the exact same premise of that movie.
It's 47 meters up.
Just above the water, above sea level. These two girls, they climb those extremely tall towers.
Oh, that one, yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, 2,000 feet up, in honor of a friend who died rock climbing, or like her fiance or something. And then it's a rusty tower, and the ladder breaks, and they get stuck up there. And the acting's not great, writing's not great. The
twist isn't great either.
I mean, it's the same exact twist of 47 Meters Down.
I watched like the last 40 minutes of it, and then while I was working on something else, and I'm like, it's literally the same twist,
the same like
rug pull.
You thought,
yeah.
I did like when the truck hits the drone.
Oh yeah,
and you're like,
yeah,
of
course that would happen.
Of course it does.
And like, no drone charges that fast.
There's so many dumb things about it.
But yeah, so it's not great.
I bet if you watch it in IMAX though, and you have fear of heights, you shit your pants though.
There's a couple moments where I was like, okay, that looks pretty believable. But there, but a lot of it, it's like, it doesn't look like they're actually up there. Next one, new movie came out last year, streaming on It's streaming on Prime, Amazon Prime. This is Mild Ass.
Oh yeah.
And this is a very charming kind of comedy coming of age movie. Starring Aubrey Plaza is in it, but she's not really in it that much.
No, not really.
Maisie Stella is the main actress playing Elliot, and Aubrey Plaza plays older Elliot. And this is a very unique kind of story because it reminded me of Stranger Than Fiction, a little bit, because it's like they're in the same reality, and like the choices affect. It's like the parallel universes collided.
Yeah.
And like her older self is living in the same world that she's living in.
Yeah, and she's talking to her younger self about something that's going to happen.
But they can only get to each other by doing lots of hallucinogenic drugs.
Yeah.
By like either doing shrooms or smoking a shit ton of weed.
Yeah.
which I don't think is hallucinogenic, but
It is.
You hallucinate yourself as a successful person.
Wow. Shot in the heart.
But yeah, it was a very kind of sweet and charming movie with kind of a simple story aside from that part of it, because it's just like her older self kind of giving her younger self advice. It's not like the younger self is trying to exploit the system. Like, tell me who to invest in. What team should I bet on? You know, it's like the Back to the Future Part 2.
It's more like emotional investment that she's trying to.
Emotional turmoil.
And then it's like a learning lesson for both her younger self and her older self. Whereas like she tries to tell her to stay away from this one thing, this one person.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's just going to lead to this thing. But then it's like, well, no, you kind of have to go through that, you know?
Yeah, there's some good lessons there.
Yeah, but and it ends like and it was over just like kind of like very abruptly.
Yeah,
and
that's what I thought too.
I like that part of it because I don't really need to see where it goes from there because you see the result. Of the choice that she made. So yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Good. Where's that streaming again? Prime.
That was on Prime.
Yeah, Bruce loves this movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Bruce is a huge fan. I liked it well enough.
Yeah, it was good. It was like in the realm of like slightly above mid enjoyable movies.
Yeah, I think that it's also worth watching because
it was
upper middle mid. It's a good movie to like take it a risk watching because it's not really a big risk, but you could if you're in the right demographic or in the right state of mind, you could get a lot from this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Next streaming pick, also streaming on Hulu. This is A Real Pain.
I saw that you watched that.
Starring Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin, the Academy Award winner for this movie, for supporting actor. And I like this movie quite a bit, actually.
Was it deserved? The nom?
The win.
The win?
I think it was right that he was nominated, and I'm not upset after now watching it that he won. But I feel like Guy Pearce was the better choice.
I agree
of the categories of the nominations. But yeah, it's I like this movie, and he is the quote unquote real pain in this movie, because he has the personality of someone you would not want to be. Like, I personally would not want to be friends with because he's very abrasive and
no filter,
and
has
just
to be the star of the show,
and has like a lot of narcissistic tendencies.
Wow.
And he's related to him too, so it's not like you're just a buddy.
And they're cousins, and they're like those cousins where it's like you grew up with your
it's like a brother,
your cousin.
May as well be a brother.
They might as well be siblings. And their grandma dies, who is from Poland, and the whole movie is them going to Poland on this tour of like a Holocaust type tour where they go to like a concentration camp and they want to go see their grandma's where she lived when she was there. And he is just like, they don't really explicitly say what kind of life that he lives, but it's implied that he's like a free roaming person. He has no place that he lives specifically. He just kind of is.
He's a nomad.
He just kind of moves around, maybe a couch surfer or something. He's got a lot of friends. But it was interesting that he was like this annoying person. Like he was this real pain with this small group of other tourists who were on the same tour.
Was he just like spouting off shit? Like,
yeah, kind of. Yeah. Just like he would just kind of go off like on tangents or make unnecessary remarks. But at the same time, they themselves, other than his cousin, Jesse Eisenberg, they were sort of perpetuating it.
Oh.
Like they were like, at one point, they were like, kind of like justifying his behavior at the same time. At first, it's like really abrasive and annoying, but then like at one point they're in like a cemetery, a small cemetery, and he gives a like pretty harsh feedback to the tour guide.
I 100% related to that scene too.
And he was like, hey, can you chill out on like the statistics and the data and all this stuff? Like, we're in a cemetery right now. And like, he's like giving all these factoids about it. And he's like, just chill on it right now.
Let's just like absorb the moment.
And I was like,
sacred ground.
Like, I understand that part of it. I understand like what he's saying. And like, yeah, we are, I guess, like have a moment of silence, I guess, when you're in this specific area. But later in the movie, the tour guide comes back and is like, hey, no one's ever given me feedback before, so I've been thinking about it since you said that to me, and I really appreciate it. So it's like at first you're like, this guy's kind of an asshole, but I understand what he's coming from. But then the tour guide comes back and says, you know what, that was actually a good feedback.
But there's a more diplomatic way to go about it.
Sure, yeah.
I don't necessarily. You have to watch. Well, did you see the movie?
No, I know.
You have to watch it because
I know what scene you're talking about, but like
you haven't seen the movie.
Well, I've seen the scene.
Have you?
Yes,
on TikTok. Don't even.
Okay.
We're gonna play the thing. Oh, here it comes. Dear glorious leader, please shine down your mercy on our friend Tyler and allow him to watch more TikTok so he can have more input on the show instead of watching the movies.
But yeah,
where's the streaming at?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
But yeah, and Jesse Eisenberg did give a pretty strong performance as well. He has more of like I guess they both kind of have an emotional parts of the movie. There's a scene right after the concentration camp tour where they're on the bus and you see him sort of, not Kieran Culkin, sort of like having a breaking down in a sense. And then Jesse Eisenberg has a moment when he's
at the dinner,
just talking to the rest of them while Kieran Culkin is in the bathroom, and he's like talking about him.
He was shaking in it.
Yeah,
I thought for my money, I still think Eisenberg had he had less work to do in the movie, but I think he had the better performance.
But yeah, it was, and it was over. Like it's a short movie, and the ending can be read as like, well, this is kind of a sad ending because there's a departure in a sense, and it's like, well, what's gonna happen now? It's like the end of The Graduate.
Also, on top of that, it's a really cool looking movie because you get to see all these really interesting areas.
Yeah, and it's also like a really nicely shot movie.
Shot in a really good way. I figured you'd appreciate that.
But yeah, really, I enjoyed it a lot, even though it's like kind of like hard to. His character is really grating, but that's the good performance.
Yeah.
And you could say like, well, they're just kind of acting like themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen Kieran Culkin's like the way he presents himself in interviews and stuff, it's like, well, he's kind of like just exaggerating his own personality in this movie. And Jesse Eisenberg is just the same.
Yeah, he's
the same. And then not streaming anywhere, saw it in theaters. I watched Mickey 17.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this is not better than Parasite, I don't think, but it's still very entertaining and very good. And I was wondering where it was going because the premise is laid out in like all the marketing. It's like he's a clone he's a person who signs up for this program, and who is basically, they just do a bunch of human trials on him.
Yeah.
They like test for diseases. They test for like, he's like a crash test dummy.
Okay.
A human crash test dummy that they can just
a good way to put it.
they can just reprint over and over again. And then there's something happens where every time he dies, they reprint him, and something happens where he doesn't die, and they reprint him before he gets back. And so he goes back to his room, and he wakes up, and himself is there. Mickey 18 is there, and the themes of the movie are kind of like combined themes from Bong Joon-ho's like previous movies, like classism. And like sci-fi with like Snowpiercer and stuff. It was really entertaining, and Mark Ruffalo does a really good job of playing a dictator.
Oh, that's cool.
You will definitely see some resemblance in some current aspiring dictators in America.
Oh, okay, cool.
But also there's a part in the movie where I was like, this could have been played by Walton Goggins.
Oh, okay.
Because Mark Ruffalo has like these like really like shiny veneers in this movie, and there's a late night show segment where he's like hosting this show, and his hair's like pushed back.
Oh, he looks like Uncle Baby.
He's got that like 5'6" head.
This
going
isn't
on.
pushed back. This is slicked back.
Yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it, and it has a lot of really kind of quirky scenes. It's definitely more of a comedy.
Yeah, as I've heard.
Dark comedy.
Is it? Would you consider it rewatchable?
I think so. I don't know.
Comedies are good for rewatching.
It's not doing very well in theaters. For the box office anyway. I think it's gonna lose money, unfortunately. And I don't think this would be. It's nowhere near the caliber of like Parasite, but it's still really entertaining and really fun. Yeah, that's all I have.
Cool, awesome. All right, I only have 2 things I'm going to talk about this week. Number 1 is a movie that I never heard of before, but I was looking through, reading a list. Someone was talking about Steve Martin being a good serious actor that needed to do more serious acting, and they referenced The Spanish Prisoner from 1997. And it was a movie I'd never heard of before. It's also streamed on Amazon Prime, but also on Peacock, Roku, Vudu, Tubi, Plex, Freevee, all of them. Everywhere you go. And you turn the TV on, it's probably playing right now. And this is starring, I came for the Steve Martin, and it really wasn't a Steve Martin movie, but he's in it, and he's first billed. Yeah, I came for Steve Martin. He looked me in the eyes, he grabbed me by the shoulder with his strong arms, and I just couldn't help it. I feel small in his arms. Ben Gazzara, Campbell Scott, Rebecca Pigeon, yeah,
Pigeon,
Ricky Jay, Felicity Huffman, J.J. Johnston, Ed O'Neill, Clark Gregg.
2 first names.
Yeah.
Clark Gregg.
A couple of people you recognize, but a lot of people you wouldn't. And this isn't like amazing, but I thought it was pretty kind of interesting. And it's one of these corporate espionage thrillers.
Okay.
So the whole plot is that the main character, he's a guy that it just works for this firm. It's unclear what they do. And he comes up with a process. They keep calling it a process. It's basically some sort of way to beat the competition in whatever field they are.
Right.
The specifics about it are unimportant, but it's proprietary to him. He invented this thing, and it's basically like a new technology or a new way of running the business that
sounds familiar.
Guaranteed success, essentially, and guaranteed hundreds of millions of dollars of profit to the company. And they the company flies him out to this island nation, something or other, Caribbeans or something, for their shareholders meeting or whatever, and he unveils this thing to them. And it's kind of a private meeting. It's like the CEO and the head of legal department or whatever. And he says, we have this. It's been proven. It's tested. We've tested it multiple times, long-term testing, and it is proven to gain our company this much money. And again, they don't say the specifics. It's just you're implied that it's like hundreds of millions of dollars, like life-changing money for everybody. And everybody involved in it stands to make a ton of money. So he more or less says, I created it while I work for you guys. It's yours to keep, but I hope I'm going to be compensated for this. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And he's a company man, and it seems to be a pretty good company. It's not like a shady company or something.
Yeah.
Everything you're led to believe is that they're a good company. And he's just like, okay, cool, well, let's drop papers. I have 1 copy. It's in my safe back home, blah, 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 whatever. And then he's basically, his bosses say, just watch out for people who are going to try to steal this. Because if this is what you say it is, this is going to be life-changing for everybody involved. And he goes on with his life, and he's like starting to buy nicer clothes, and he's starting to get more money and this and that until it's all unveiled. And during the course of that, he meets these new people in his life. Steve Martin is this rich guy who comes in and is like, hey, let me buy that camera off you for $1,000. I need my camera. And he's like, you don't need to buy it. Here, have it. It's free. It's a disposable camera. Who cares?
Dip.
Yeah, and it becomes this weird relationship with Steve Martin. And Steve Martin is basically saying, watch out for that company. If they haven't written anything in writing for you about this thing that you say you invented, you're basically giving them this multi-million-dollar thing for nothing.
Yeah.
And my dad's in business. I've been in business my whole life. If you can't sign a contract saying that they're going to take care of you, then they're going to fuck you.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying, you need to watch out for this.
It's the American way.
Yeah. You need to watch out for this company. You think that their guys are your best interest in mind, but they don't. I'm an independent guy, da-da-da-da-da. So you're not sure if the company he's working for is trying to screw him, or this new guy, Steve Martin, has got some angle or whatever.
Probably both.
And then the FBI gets involved, and there's all this other, intellectual property stuff. And ultimately, it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit slow at times, but it's got a pretty good finale. The third act really kind of ties it all together, which you kind of expect. But this is let me see if I can find the director here. It's directed by David Mamet, which is I don't think he's directed a ton of stuff, but he's written a ton of stuff. So
I feel like I've seen his name on a lot of stuff.
He's the writer of Glengarry Glen Ross, and he's like a playwright. So all his stuff. He also did West Wing, I think. Very verbose dialogue, a lot of dialogue heavy scripts and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But he's not known. He's not known as a director, but he's known as a writer. Yeah. So in this one, he did direct it, and I'd say it's a recommend. It has some interesting, and it's a kind of a nice time capsule too, because it's 97, so the technology used for all this corporate espionage is kind of goofy, in retrospect.
So the Spanish Prisoner,
and the name comes from that's a grift. It's like the old bait and switch. It's the old Spanish Prisoner, and the concept is, I'm a important businessman, and my sister or my good friend, she's the princess of this. Her
sister was a witch.
Yeah. She's like a princess of some island nation or something like that, and she's been held captive in a Spanish prison, and if you can help me get her out, she's gonna hook you up.
It's like the original Nigerian prince scam.
Very similar for the Nigerian prince. So, but it used to be called the Spanish Prisoner.
Spanish Prisoner. Wow.
Yeah, the idea is you get her out, you get a bunch of money and the girl.
Got it.
Yeah.
And the girl.
You
get to have your cake and eat it too.
That's right. So I thought it was pretty enjoyable. It's a mid movie, but it's a nice time capsule movie. So
this was a serious role for Steve Martin.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And I really.
And how did he do as a serious role?
He was good. Yeah. Believable.
Is he better as a serious role or comedic role?
Oh, okay. No. I mean, he didn't have as much as you would imagine to do for something like this. I would like to see him in something like Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems, put him in
a little bit more challenging.
Put him in a PTA movie where he can be a real piece of shit and see how he goes.
He hasn't really done a movie in a while, right?
No,
I think
he's just been doing that show.
I think he's retired. Right?
He's doing the Only Murders in the Building.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Hulu series with what's her name?
Gomez.
Yeah, Selena Gomez
and Martin Short.
He's also touring with Martin Short. It's the Martin and Martin tour.
Yeah,
Steve Martin Short.
Your mortal enemy.
Yeah, I've come around on him. So anyway, that's the Spanish Prisoner from 1997, streaming everywhere. Yeah, I've come around on him. But my number one streaming pick of the week is a 4-part miniseries. I don't even call it a miniseries. It's a British series, and BBC will do that where it's a
maxi series.
4 episodes. Yeah, it's 4 episodes and it's done. They don't do. Sometimes they won't do multiple seasons, and the seasons always are like between 3 and 6 episodes. Like you don't have to have a huge commitment.
Yeah, it's interesting how they do their shows. Like Sherlock seasons are like each episode's like a movie.
Yeah,
and it's only 3 episodes a season.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is called Adolescence. Adolescence.
Okay.
I've heard this is very good.
It's really good. So it first came on my radar because Joe Bridges posted on Cinematics about it, and he basically said, "There's no way that this is not winning the Emmy. Like no series
an Emmy
is for like best original series or whatever.
Yeah,
because it's really good. And,
what's it about?
So first of all, it's only 4 episodes. Each episode is a oneer. So it's a one cut, no cuts.
One take.
One take.
Just okay.
Yeah, one continuous take, like 1917 or Birdman or something like that.
What's up with Stephen Graham and doing one take?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. it was co-written and co-created by Stephen Graham, who plays a kind of a pretty crucial character in it. Not the main character, but in one episode, he's the focus point. Mm-hmm. And Stephen Graham is Tommy the Tit from Snatch, that same actor. He's also in that dark reimagining of the Christmas Carol movie that I watched a while ago on Hulu.
Yeah,
he played Bob Cratchit or something, or one of the, and he was one of the characters.
Plays a Nazi in This Is England.
Oh yeah, okay. And then also he was the main character chef in Boiling Point, that one take movie. Mm-hmm. Now, Boiling Point was a true one-take movie. Like, there was supposedly no cuts, no edits. Like, they really did it that way.
Yeah.
And there's a cheats always that you can put into it. And it's like, this transition moves into this transition. And, you can hide a cut there, that's how this is. There's definitely some cuts hidden in some places, but it's not noticeable, and it didn't bother me at all. And I really can't say a lot about it, but it's really, really hard to talk about it because I want people to go into this with nothing revealed to them and just enjoy. Okay. Enjoy is a very bad choice of words because it's a very heavy subject matter.
I know the premise of it.
I know nothing about it.
I saw an interview with Stephen Graham talking about, like, it's not a spoiler of like what happens in it. It's more. It's not like a who done it.
No,
it's more of like a why done it.
Hey, there you go. That's actually pretty good. So what I was going to say is because I thought about what I could say and couldn't say, but I'll say in the first episode, a child of this community is accused of a crime. A 13-year-old boy is accused of murder.
Oh, yes, I've heard of this.
Right, and
the child murder is what spurred your
Tyler's
memory.
like, oh yes, now I really got to watch it. I love when kids get murdered.
Love when kids get murdered.
So it's that happens within the first, like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something like that, 5 minutes of the show. You get this, accusation and whatever. And I'll give you the breakdown. It's episode 1 is the discovery of the accusation of the crime and how it's processed.
Okay.
Do you remember we reviewed a movie called A Separation? It was an Israeli movie, I think, or Iranian movie.
Yeah, I think it was
about
Iranian.
Yeah, for about a divorce.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like seeing the interesting side of that country's legal system was really kind of an interesting part of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
This shows the intake of this juvenile into their system, what that means, what the court setting looks like, what the interaction with the parent, and they have to have a legal guardian there for all the proceedings and blah, 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 blah. So that was really interesting in itself. But also the breakneck speed of what is happening is very shocking because, it's told from more or less from the perspective of the main detective and then kind of changes the perspective to the kid and his father who's accompanying him through this whole thing. So what you revealed through that is shocking and heartbreaking and concerning and whatever. Second episode is all about the school and trying to get more information about it. Third episode is just a conversation between the child and, an official.
Kind of makes you question, like, whether he'd done it or didn't.
Yeah, throughout the entire thing, you're like, well, I'm pretty sure he did it, but maybe not, Yeah. And then you're like, well, why do you say that? Okay, he's definitely guilty.
Okay, so what happens at the end?
It says end, and the credits roll.
Oh,
yeah.
Does he get executed? Like
and then
firing squad.
And then the fourth episode is more revolving around his dad and like him coming to grips with the whole thing. So that's as much as I'm going to say about it because it's the reveal throughout the entire movie or series was phenomenal. Every episode looks great. Every episode is acted phenomenally.
How long are the episodes?
First one's an hour. Second one's like 50 minutes. Second one's about 50 minutes. Last one's an hour.
Okay.
It's like almost a 4. It's like a 3.5 hour commitment.
All right.
Which most people will binge that in a night on, watching reruns of Seinfeld or whatever.
Did you find yourself wanting, like, after the first episode ended, like, did you find yourself wanting, I need to watch the second episode?
Yes.
Okay.
And I watched the first one at the late in the night, so I couldn't. I wish I could have. Then we binged 2 and 3 together, and we saved the last one for the last night for like a Friday night first of the night viewing.
Nice.
Prime time. And does not disappoint. Really good. The boy, the main character, Jamie, he's a great actor. And in episode 3, there's almost the entire thing is just a conversation between him and an official. And that is a great performance, a great range of emotions.
That was that kid's first acting gig.
Fucking great. Like, you reminded me of Caleb, the character of Caleb from The Witch. Yeah. Different, totally different, but just the range of emotions. And I'll say,
he didn't make love on a witch.
I don't have kids. I have a niece and a nephew. My nephew's probably 11 now, maybe 10 now or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing him in the child, in the character, because he was 13 when he was accused of this crime.
Yeah.
And seeing, Cooper in that role, it broke my heart to think about. I can only imagine if I had my own children, and what that means as an adult or a parent that brought this child up, if it's true, how do I reconcile with I raised that monster?
Oh yeah, I mean,
thing, you know?
yeah, I heard 911 calls of this one particular person that was like 19 years old who killed someone, and like the distraughtness that you could hear in the call like is heartbreaking.
From the murderer?
Yeah, because the murderer was her son. And so,
so the mom of
the mom called
killer
911 on her, and
Got
so like to hearing that distraughtness of like her child that she like raised.
I can only imagine being there and seeing it, but in this case, there's the question of whether it's really true, how much of it is just
God damn it,
quote
I really
unquote
wanna
fake
watch
news.
this.
Yeah, and it's very timely too, because it's not like you're watching something from the 1950s and it's a child that was born with
It's modern
part of
times.
his brain missing, and now he's a serial killer. It's like, did society cause this? Did things within our society that are happening today cause this? And
So it's a little heady.
very much so. So I would say
Fucking liberals.
everybody should watch this. It's on Netflix. If you have children that are below the age of 18, especially young boys, even more important that you do that.
And don't raise serial killers.
It's like Requiem for a Dream for kids.
Kind of. And I really want to comment more about it, but I absolutely will not. So maybe after you guys watch it, we can do a little like bonus bit and talk about it on Patreon.
I think we should, yeah, because you sold me on it like that.
Yeah, well, I would say watch it. I mean, it's kind of a big ask for us three to watch in 1 week, 4-hour thing plus streaming picks plus the next week's movie or whatever. But if you can, it would be great. We could talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Adolescence.
So, so that's it. Adolescence streaming on Netflix. That's all I got.
Cool.
All right, you guys good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna come back just in a few minutes. We're gonna take a smoke break for Tyler. We'll come back and review Falling in Love Like Movies. If you're listening to us on the later released episodes, the podcast on Monday, that'll be out on Wednesday. We'll do Falling in Love Like Movies, and then we'll discuss the changes to the show.
Or you can just watch the live stream if you want.
Yeah.
If
That's what
you're impatient.
That's what I said. If you're on the live stream, we'll be back in a few minutes, in 20 minutes or so. So, right. Thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Ryan, or Michael, Steven, and Chris. Michael's in the chat. It's Angry Otter. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Thanks for the donation, and thanks for always being here to support us. And also thanks to everybody else that's in the chat. We got Bruce in the chat, Big Red Dal in the chat. He suggested we talk about movie characters, traits we've adopted over the years on maybe next week's conversation instead of a news topic. I think that's great.
What character personalities have you adopted in the past?
Yeah, come out of Drive, you're instantly like silent hero.
I mean, haven't we all felt that before?
Yeah, exactly. So I think we should talk about that. But thank you to all of you guys. If you want to join us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just watch on the YouTube. That is your own way to support as well. Until next time. Thank you for joining us today as we gab and chatter. Join us in a little bit as we talk about Falling in Love Like in Movies, Joe Bridges' favorite movie from 2023. And it would delight if I had to tip my hand. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class.
And follow us on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
There we go. Okay, guys, we'll see you in a little bit or later in the week. See you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
don't know, man. That 15-year-old's pretty hot.
Damn, that life looks good.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call!
Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You're mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kim left to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of A Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
And today, the Wheel of Destiny finally landed on my pick. The final pick from the Wheel of Destiny.
Final pick.
Today, we're going to be reviewing Falling in Love Like in Movies.
Kalau kita bikin film hitam putih.
I don't understand.
They flipped it backwards. I can't even read it.
Bilang dong. Film ini bercerita tentang seorang penulis film
There's even any
yang
subtitles
ingin
on this
mendapatkan
trailer.
gadis pujaannya dengan cara menuliskan kisah cintanya ke dalam skrip.
Curhat ya.
Skrip.
Kan kalau penulis memang harus personal, Pak.
Ya, mereka semua bilang gitu kok.
Saya lanjut lagi.
Iya.
Namanya Hanan, teman SMA-nya baru saja menjanda.
Yuk kebayang gak yang main jadi bagus siapa?
Yon Yoko. Saya rasa kegantengan, Pak.
Ya kalau gitu kita bikin seimbang aja. Gimana kalau yang main Hana itu Julie Estelle?
I understood that part.
Kebayang gak sih ada film romance, pemerannya udah
Romance.
seumuran kita. Siapa yang mau nonton? Manis ya?
Apakah cinta?
Itu dari awal memang bagus niatnya buat modusin Hana atau dia
Let's
memang
talk
benar-benar
more
suka
Bucky.
sama Hana?
Halo, masih belum move on juga?
Jadinya sad ending ya. Nggak menutup kemungkinan ya kalau suatu hari nanti ada pria lain lagi di hidup lo.
Kayaknya gue sendiri gini aja nggak apa-apa sih.
Itu kan ceritanya dia, masa nggak izin? Gue sih digituin ngamuk. Lo pikir Dengan bikin film lu bisa ngerasain apa yang orang lain rasain, Gus. Lu nggak usah ngomong jatuh cinta, lu nggak usah bikin film tentang jatuh cinta. Lu tuh nggak ngerti apa-apa.
Ya bukan, nah, karena kan harusnya cinta nggak nyiksa diri lo kayak gitu.
Jadi menurut lo, semua yang gua rasain ini bukan cinta?
Nonton suka itu, Gus. Mereka tuh minta diperes emosinya. Kalau bisa tuh mereka sampai nangis, Gus. Nanti di premier kalau mereka nangis, I pakai rekamannya untuk media promo, Gus.
There it is. Falling in love like in movies.
I just translated. There we go.
And if you're wondering what language that is, it's Indonesian.
Isn't there like several languages in Indonesian, or is it just one?
Actually, Milwaukee is no stranger to travelers from different lands. That's right, Peter. There's like 200 languages that are spoken in Indonesia. There's
crazy.
Yeah, the actual...
Is it the official one?
The actual official language is Indonesian, or Bahasa Indonesia. It evolved from a literary style of Malay spoken in the royal houses of Rio Jumbe in the areas of southern Sumatra, originally thought to have started out in Tibet, actually.
Interesting. Curious how different the languages are from one another. Or if
I
it's
don't
more
understand. Why can't there be a singular language throughout all of humanity? Like, I don't get... I don't get
the TikTok.
Tyler's good Lord, Tyler.
Tyler has very specific thoughts about.
If you come to this country, you speak American, goddammit.
Yeah, you speak Indonesian like God intended.
Well, we're a species of language, so like I don't understand like why we have different languages.
Wait, say that again? We're a species of language.
Yes.
All right, don't hurt
We're a
yourself.
species of language, but you don't understand why we don't all speak the same language.
Yes, it doesn't make sense. Why?
How would that make sense?
So what if we decided the most spoken language on the planet as a native language is probably Chinese? I imagine Mandarin, Cantonese. Statistically. So if we want to universalize it, you got to learn Mandarin.
Fine.
Yeah, sure.
And Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know me.
And German.
So,
and
anyways,
Spanish.
Falling in Love Like in Movies from 2023, written and directed by Yandi Lawrence, starring Ringo Agus Rahman, Nirina Zubir, and Alex Abad. Also in the movie, there's a couple people that are name-checked by name and are playing their actual selves.
Oh.
That is, where is he here? Where's his name? He just fell off.
Going through the Peter 5000.
Yeah, I'm going through the guys that were supposed to... Oh, Dion Wikoko and Julia Estelle.
Oh, okay. So they were actual actors.
Those are actual actors playing themselves in the movie.
Oh, okay.
They're basically playing the same versions of Bugus and Hannah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie, the reason why we're watching it is because we have a bunch of great listeners on the show, people that we've picked up from various places. A number of them kind of originated from our relationships we may or may not have had from people on Cinematics. It's a Facebook group which originated as a podcast. Cinematics is still doing the podcast. It still exists, but
now it's a burgeoning Facebook group.
Yeah, it's like this entire group with like multiple offsets and whatnot. And we've got people kind of coming into our show from all over the place. I know we've had some of the binge movies loyalists like Heather and myself came over. We got people from kind of all over different corners of the internet. But Joe Bridges is one of our most illustrious and well read in the movie world, if you will, listeners and contributors.
Well read,
well watched.
Yeah.
And I remember a long time ago, we were talking about something, or I was listening to him watching him talk to somebody about something else online. Mm-hmm. And he said at some point in his life, he decided, I want to become a master of something. And movies was it. He decided, I'm going to basically treat it like I'll be a historian of movies or something like that.
I got a minor. Whoa. I minored in movies.
You did?
No, that's his thinking.
No, you were a major in movies.
Yeah.
Major in movie making. Major movie making.
Yeah.
And Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, so I may be bastardizing all this, but long story short, the dude watches a ton of movies, and he's got a very interesting take on a lot of them.
He's our own Michael Elliott.
Yeah, and he watches less porn, to be fair, though. Michael Elliott, he watches more porn than most.
I don't know if he just watches it to pump those numbers up.
I think so. Pump something up.
Yeah, he's pumping something up,
But Joe also is strict with movies. Like, he doesn't give away the 5 stars willy nilly. And 2023, Falling in Love Like Movies was, I think, his favorite of the year. If not his favorite, very close to the favorite. And I thought, I've never even heard of it. I know nothing about it. It's Indonesian. When I went into it, I thought it was Thai, and I was like, "Oh, Thai rom-com."
I didn't even know it was foreign at all.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't say shit about it when we put on the wheel.
Yeah.
And the only Thai movie I can think of that I really love is Ong Bak and The Protector and Ong Bak 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if The Raid is Indonesian or Thai, or I'm not sure.
I don't know, actually.
The Raid Redemption. But I just thought, well, it's a fun, interesting movie. Let's give it a watch. Let's see what it's all about. And I really enjoyed myself. I thought it was really kind of an interesting movie. And I'll give the basic plot synopsis. A film writer who specializes in adaptations wants to secretly write his first original screenplay, but about his true story of falling in love with someone who has recently become a widow. And it's a multi-layered sort of meta approach to it. Movies about making movies are always really interesting to me. How the creative direction they take with that. Something like Adaptation is a movie about a book that's being adapted into a movie, and that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage's best performance in my opinion. But this movie it's a really cool approach because he's writing a movie about what's happening in the movie, and he's telling the story to the producer who's going to make the movie as we are watching it. So he's like telling the story, and then the movie pauses, and that's him pausing to talk to the producer. And then at some point it goes to the reality of what's happening, and you're like, so which one am I watching?
You get kind of mixed up.
Yeah, it's like Primer or something. You're like, am I watching a story being told, or am I watching reality? But none of it is
am I watching The Princess Bride?
Exactly. So that's kind of like what you need to know about it. And I had some thoughts about it, but let's start with Tyler. What did you think about Falling in Love Like in Movies?
I thought this was the 500 Days of Summer of foreign films.
Cool.
I thought the main character was pretty detestable. I did not like him. I think he had like a very weak motivation and kind of like the quote unquote nice guy sort of idea of approaching a girl that he had previously had affection for. But that's not to detract from the quality of the film. The film was just, it made me, well, so like the parameters that I have for like a good film is if it makes me feel emotion, and it did make me feel emotion.
Emotion in general?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Like whether it's bad or
anger,
good?
Anything.
Anger,
Okay.
disgust.
Cool.
And also it's a very...
Elation.
Yeah. Relation.
I'm turned on.
Elation.
Oh, elation. Yeah, I think this was a very well done movie, and the whole like meta style of writing was, it's a really hard thing to execute when you go into that. I mean, like we already saw like with the Matrix 4, like how that fell flat on its face with the whole meta like writing style. But this movie definitely, with its cuts of him telling the story while the story of his life is unfolding, really liked that. And I liked how it was in black and white too, because that adds to that adds to the storytelling as well. And I like the unconventional attractiveness of the main character too, because when you look at him, you're like, this guy, he's going after this babe. Come on. Just because he's a movie writer, like
glamorous movie writer.
Yeah. And actually I like the portrayal of him, like he's only writing like adaptations and like unnecessary sequels. Like it's
like
just
Barton Fink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a clock in, clock out, like, you know, he's good at what he does. And but at the same time though, the start of the movie where he where he comes up with this script. He's like, I have a really good script, and the producer, it's the producer, right?
Yeah.
He leans back in his chair, just like a classic sort of producer, and he's like, scratches his chin. He's like, "What tell me about this story?" I don't know why I did that accent, but and
it's really offensive to Indonesian people, actually.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Well,
still is.
I'm sorry
Will
for
be
our
offensive tomorrow.
I'm sorry for our Indonesian listeners.
We had a really strong presence over there.
But anyways, I thought the acting was really good, and the fact that they tried it, it's like this is where the meta thing comes in. It's like where they try to make you like the character, but if you looked objectively, outside of the situation, he's really not a likable character.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really appreciated that sort of writing, and the acting was very good. And yeah, at first, when I finished it, I was angry.
Why?
Because I was like, F this guy. This guy sucks. How dare he goes into because the wife only had lost her husband 4 months ago.
Yeah, but was that true, or was that just what he wrote in the movie?
Oh.
Because she says that her maid lost her husband or something, right?
Something like that.
Okay.
Well, that was that woman. She also
was
did
that a
too.
maid?
I think it was just her employee. I don't think it was a maid. She was the one who worked at the flower shop.
Well, so I mean, when I say angry, I didn't mean I was seething at the teeth, God damn it, why did I watch this movie?
Foaming at the mouth.
But it was, but it made me feel it was a very for initial thoughts, it was a very thought-provoking movie, and I really enjoyed watching it.
I certainly was provoked.
Cool. All right, Tyler. Thank you for that. Joseph, what's up? What you got? You like it?
What's up?
You like it?
What's up?
What's up?
Good, bad, indifferent, other, horny, wet, bloated.
I didn't. When I'm watching a foreign film, I never realized how much talking goes on in a movie.
What is this, a David Mamet movie?
Because because it's foreign language, so I have to watch.
I know I can't be meandering.
I
around
can't
the house.
Yeah, you can't.
Where I can listen, I can look down or something. I have to
yeah.
You're more laser focused. But yeah, I would. Same with Tyler. I thought it was a very 500 Days of Summer type of movie where the romance, at least part of it, combined with, I know I mentioned it on the other episode, but Stranger Than Fiction as well. Just not as what he's writing is actually affecting what's happening in real life. But the meta, the multi-layered storytelling going on, where he's telling a producer about a story where he's also playing a writer who's writing a story in which he's making a movie. It got a little bit confusing, where I got lost in what was actually happening in real life and what was not happening at all. And I guess what I gathered was kind of like a Memento type of thing, where everything in color was real life and everything in black and white was not.
Right. Yeah.
Was not.
Which is almost everything.
Yeah, which is 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's only the beginning and the very end that is really shown in color. It does go back to black and white, I think.
I don't think it does.
Well, it goes to color and then it comes
Oh.
back to black and white, and then
Correct.
it ends in color.
Yeah.
And honestly, I understand the storytelling part of that, but when it was in color, it was really beautiful looking.
I know. I was kind of pissed off that we didn't get to see a lot of those beautiful shots.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it was a really interesting and unique way to tell this type of romantic comedy. It's like a dramedy, romantic dramedy.
Yeah. There's some comedy.
The story itself, it kind of reminded me of a story that would be the premise of a K-drama or an Asian drama that because Deanna watches a bunch of K-dramas and Bree has as well in the past.
I've been exposed to many of them.
Yes. And it was like, oh, this seems like a premise of like a show, like of that type of show.
Yeah.
But within a movie, it's less soap opera-y and more of like a dramatic, realistically dramatic thing. Because the acting felt very naturalistic and the dialogue felt very normal. And then going back to the whole like blending of the worlds or realities of the story in real life, there's a part in the movie where they're at he's at his friend's house, who's the editor, and the main actor Dion.
Yeah.
And
Coco.
And Hana shows up, and then they're confused, like, I thought she was just in the story.
Yeah.
I was like oh, okay, so like the worlds are kind of clashing, or they're getting mixed up now, and I'm confused. And to your point where you said that he was kind of a detestable person, but I liked what they did with that, because he was kind of being that person, but it was intentional that he was that person, because the actors who are playing the versions of themselves are like, man, this guy's a real piece of shit, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do this? And he's like, what do you mean? Don't you think that
I'm the hero?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like he's seeing himself, because he wrote himself as his true self, but then he's receiving feedback, not directly but indirectly, from these other people.
Yeah.
But he's taking it in because it's like, well, this is me, right? Like I'm not an asshole.
Yeah, there's a lot of self-reflecting, like when he gets those notes.
And I thought that was pretty funny. That
was really funny.
It's a very dialogue-driven movie for sure. And I liked the mechanics of everything. And I thought it was really well done. Him getting typhoid from eating too many noodles was interesting.
He must eat a lot of noodles, because I've survived on ramen for many weeks before.
Also, the lack of sleep and everything, because he's trying to cram in that writing a script within a week, and then he ends up like, "Oh, we'll give you another week."
I know, that was funny. Sad funny.
But yeah, it was a charming little, cute little movie that I would have totally missed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I do like the unconventional sort of casting of it, because again, that's part of the movie where it's like, well, I'm making a movie about people our age falling in love, not about early 20-year-olds falling in love. Kind of like 500 Days of Summer ish. But yeah, it was entertaining for sure, and a very unique way to tell a story that we've kind of seen many times.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for that. Okay, so my take on it is I got a lot of vibes of the tone of Amelie in this too, because it kept cutting away to these like small little vignettes and small little things, not nearly as much as that movie does, but like when you see her at her husband's funeral, and then it cuts to her and she's in the casket with him, and they're closing the door open, or closing the door on the casket.
Yeah.
And there's a number of kind of interesting sort of quirky takeaway small scenes like that, and the vibe just in general was whimsical enough, but for a serious sort of setup and a serious sort of series of events. But I thought this is a dynamite script, like a really good script. When I watched Challengers and I was finished with that movie, I thought, how do you even start writing a movie like that? Or American Fiction was another one that was just a really good script, or recent movie.
Yeah.
But this one really, from start to finish, was like, you have a very clear vision, and you're withholding a lot of the information from the audience as they're watching it, so that the reveal of it really wasn't happening quite like that is more a kind of a surprise. And you don't really, it's not really like they're being deceptive to the audience, because you assume it's a movie, it's a dramatic reenactment. He's not doing every scene of their entire life beat by beat, because that would be, I mean, what's the point of that? Why would you even have to write it? You just transcribe it at that point. But I like the idea that he had, where he's like, I'm gonna make this project for her, and with good intentions. It's like, I'm gonna give her time to grieve. We have a year until it's gonna come out. Hopefully by then. And I thought through it too. I thought, I mean, this is kind of an interesting moral quandary that he's in, because he really cares for the woman,
right?
And what he knows is script writing, so he's going to use the tools at his disposal to basically try to woo her, while also getting to know her. And I didn't feel it to be super deceptive as I was watching the movie kind of unfold.
Yeah.
Until you get to the actors, Dion Wikoko and whatever her name is.
I also know, I don't know if this was intentional, but like the editors, her name was like Shalene and his friend
Dion.
Yeah. I thought that was funny.
No one commented on that.
Shalene Dion.
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of that was. I don't know if that was just a coincidence or it didn't seem like it would be, but
Nah, yeah, I don't know.
it's funny though.
Yeah. But I was kind of on his side for a while, thinking his thought process of it's going to take a year. That's a long time to allow somebody to grieve before I can kind of put my intentions out there. Right. And I'm like, that's respectful. I get that. And then if her feelings aren't reciprocated, then he'll change the ending of the script to a sad ending where he doesn't get the girl at the end. And I go, that's kind of a really great way to think about it. But at the end, the heart of the entire thing is that he's being deceptive to her, which is a total prick move.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the heart of a lot of romantic, like rom-com movies, where it's like you're going to be deceptive to the woman so that you can have this grand plan and reveal what your big grand plan was. And that's how you're going to win her instead of just like being yourself.
Yeah, it's being forefront about it.
Yeah, like You've Got Mail. He knows it's her the whole time, but she doesn't know it's him the whole time. And you're like, you want to be the...
Does he? I haven't seen it in a long time.
I don't know if the entire time, but at some point he finds out, I think.
Yeah.
And she's like carrying on this relationship with the conglomerate owner of whatever that just destroyed her business, and he's being essentially deceptive. And then when it all happens, he's like, "Oh, don't cry, shop girl," and you're like, "Oh, that's so sweet," and stuff. It's like, well, he's still a deceptive dickhead about it.
Yeah.
So, and that's not unusual in rom-coms. I kind of looked through a list of deceptive males in rom-coms. They're trying to be romantic, and I feel like that is a surprisingly common undercurrent for a lot of romantic comedies.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting. So I liked when they turn it on this head and the actors are like, yeah, this guy's kind of a piece of shit. Do you want to make him more likable? And Gus is like, what? I'm pretty sure he's pretty likable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
There's like a wrestling of like, well,
that's me.
Yeah, that's me.
I wrote me accurate, and I'm the shit.
But he can't reveal that though. Like,
well, and then I also really liked the kind of we're telling you about movie making while showing you the movie. Like, here's what sequence 1 is, here's what sequence 2 is, sequence 3.
Yeah.
And when he does that scene at the diner, when he has the sequence 1 and it cuts back to sequence 1 in the movie that we already saw, you're like, oh, that's a really cool way to teach somebody about film writing.
Yeah.
You know, most people kind of just think of like act 1, act 2, act 3, but there's more stuff kind of built into there. And I don't pretend to know all of it or anything like that, but I've never heard of like the 8 sequence rule.
Yeah, me either.
I never heard of that. Maybe that's a Eastern sort of a thing, or kind of the mentality in that world, that side of the world.
Like that's how they break it down as opposed to the 3-act structure.
Acts. But I really, really liked that. And then on top of that, when you see, what was it? It was the conflict. I think it was sequence 4, and he says you have to
the first climax.
Yeah, you have to disprove the false truth. And he tells her, and you know she's going to be pissed off about it. He's going to say, yeah, you can fall in love. You think you can't now, but you can one day. And she takes it in stride enough, but it clearly is hurt about it at the dinner table. And you're thinking, okay, yeah, that's the disproving the false truth. And it's, of course, going to cause a rift, because he says it was going to cause a rift. And you learn about it right then, and they show you right then. But then the true climax of the first climax is her reading the script.
Yeah.
And it's like you're lulled into this full sense of security. You're like, oh, the climax has already happened. First climax is already there. And then she reads the script, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
dude, what are you doing?
She climaxes twice.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie was like a master. This movie was a masterclass in depicting the writing process of a movie in layman's terms, not like a very technical aspect, but as far as like the thought process that goes into writing like a movie, like your own script, not like just like doing an adaptation or anything, like, but like showing like specific parts of. Okay.
So anyways, I loved that aspect of it. I loved the reveal, and then the reveal after the reveal, bringing us into the color. And I'm like, oh, now we get to see all these scenes that they had that were actually in color and how they really went. And they glossed over all that. And I really thought the resolution was very good at the end. You know, I disagree with, you know, your take on it, Tyler. When it was ended, I was like, oh, this is a perfectly great resolution. It's not exactly what we've been watching the whole time. It's a version of reality. You know, who knows how much of it is true and how much of it is false, but look at them. They look happy together. And they're not, it's not some weird romantic, like, poem that was written and now they're living this fairy tale structure together and all this stuff. They're just like two people who found love together later in life. And it's a really important part of life, I think, because I watched American Psycho this morning to prepare for a podcast, a guest spot on Sonic Cinema I'm going to do later. And I've seen a movie a billion times. And there was a line I forgot that he says, Patrick Bateman says, and he says he's late to lunch with Jared Leto's character. And I'm going to have dinner at that Mexican food spot. Completely.
Paul Allen.
No, he's pretending to be Paul Allen.
Oh, he's pretending to be Paul
Yeah, because right. Jared Leto's character thinks he's Paul Allen. And so he asked him to meet at this Mexican food restaurant. And he's like, Paul, what kind of place is this? No one's even here. We want to be seen. You're late, by the way. And he goes, I'm a child of divorce. What can I say? It's such a funny, stupid line. And maybe in, I don't know, it's 1995 or whenever it's supposed to be set, that's a less common thing. But it's like everybody's the child of divorce, damn near. Fucking everybody, you know? So if you just were to close yourself off to, well, I had the young love and we were high school sweethearts and, you know, oh, I was Twitter-pated and we learned how to hold each other for the first time and that was it. And this, you know, doves flew overhead and sparks flew and that's the love of my life. We're going to die together in matching caskets. It's like, that's one way to do it. But then the rest of the world is probably like, yeah, the first half of my life was over after this and I have to start over and I have to like prioritize my own health, my own feelings, and then find love and then rebuild a new life with a new love. And it's like, that's an important part of life, period. So when he's talking about who wants to watch a movie about that, a fucking lot of people do. You know, it's more of a realistic approach to it. It's less of the Hollywood zhuzh of the rom-com, but there was just a lot of things I really loved about it in general.
So you liked it?
I loved it. Loved it.
All I have to say, pretty good.
Yeah, bro, not too bad.
Good. Yeah, I mean, like, I appreciate the reality of the love story that's being told to us. And I always will appreciate that. That's why I like Blue Valentine, Place Beyond the Pines, even though it's not really a love story. But
all of those are super depressing, though.
But I mean, that's what it is. Like, I think love and the reality of our world that we reside in right now is depressing. Like, I mean, it has its highs, it has its mids, and it has its very, very lows. And so what I like about this movie is that it doesn't pull back with like the reality of human relationships between people. Like, so with this film specifically is that this guy, you know, he's in his, I think they say that they're in their 40s, right? And
just about, yeah.
And so I recall that there was like a conversation that they were having like in the grocery store when they first meet about like talking about like love in their age. They're like, oh, well, we're old now. What are we doing? And I thought that was kind of relatable because I think that like I've had conversations like with like my coworkers about what are we like? It's, you know what?
What are we doing?
Drop a few likes in there, will ya?
Sorry, I did. I've been trying to work on that and I just slipped up there.
There's no try, only do.
I hate that fucking. There's no try, there's only do. It's like, oh wait,
do
I can't
or do not.
Who
said that? Who said that, Tyler? Famous movie character.
Was it Papa Palpatine?
No, it was his arch nemesis, Mr. Yoda.
Yes, I know it was Yoda. I was thinking what this movie brought up to me in my memory bank is that scene in that Seinfeld episode where Costanza and Jerry are at the diner, and Jerry's like, "What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm. We're not men.
Like, we're not." And that's what I think that's kind of like how I geared myself, like trying to empathize with the main character, is that he like he's shooting his last shot. Essentially, he sees his high school crush, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot.
And it never says if he's ever had a meaningful relationship either, like married and divorced, or
no,
they never talked about that, right?
I don't think so.
No, what they did talk about in his inner monologue, he says that he always had a crush on her since high school.
I know I'm talking about her. I'm talking about someone besides her.
If he had any relationships.
No, she was married and widowed.
They don't talk about his relationships, but they just talk about that.
We also don't know how her husband died, right?
I don't. Was he hit by a bus? I can't remember. I think it was like
if they said it, I missed it.
He was
hit by a bus.
I think he was hit by a bus.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
My husband Denny. Hi, Denny. He was hit by a bus no less than 4 months ago, and you're coming on to me? You're what?
One of my favorite lines is when he's courting her still, and he's buying flowers with her. And they're basically buying stock for her flower shop. They're going to the wholesale flower market.
Yeah.
And he says something like, she says, "Why do you want to make the main character of your movie a flower shop owner?" And he says, because it would be great. I would love to be on set and see all the beautiful colors of the flowers, because there'd be flowers everywhere, except for the movies in black and white. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I want to see this scene in colors, flowers everywhere, and it's all gray.
Well, I mean,
then she says, he says, "Why do you want to be a flower shop owner?" And she says, "Well, I like flowers."
Yeah.
What better reasoning than
I like flowers?
I like flowers.
You know, the reason why I thought this movie was thought-provoking is because I tried to put myself in that position of like seeing this like relationship blossom. Like, this person lost their husband 4 months ago. 4 months ago. That's not even a whole 365. 4 months ago. And then
that's long enough.
And then this guy is coming on to her knowing that her husband has been...
He's what?
Knowing that her husband has been lost for 4 months from her life, and she's going through the grieving process, and I can't even imagine like having
That's called grooming. He's planting his seed for later.
But that's where I started losing respect for the main character, is because knowing the fact that he knew that her husband had been dead for 4 months, and then he is going to make a pass at her.
But he's not making a pass. He's preparing. He's setting the table to make a pass.
But
plot twist: he murdered him.
Oh shit! Now that's a story we can get behind.
Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Or he is somehow responsible.
He's somehow responsible.
Buggus, you killed Denny?
I just like I like the raw realness of the story, because it really is like just regular human beings interacting, and like this piece of shit, like he's a script writer, and he's
that'll slick back real nice.
And he thinks to himself in his like narcissistic ways, he's like, you know what? I'm going to make a love letter, but I'm going to do it in a script to this girl that I've had a crush for my whole I had a crush on her for my whole life, and it's going to work out.
And if it doesn't, I'm going to become a Republican.
There we go.
But I mean, when you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. When you're a screenwriter, that's what you know. Like, I'm going to write this story about this.
That's a good point.
I thought it was when you are a hammer.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
When you are a hammer.
When you are a hammer, all your friends are nails, and you just want to nail them.
But if you're Army Hammer, you're going to
eat the nail. But I mean, there's also the same sort of thought process happen in Molly and Max in the future. Like, they are will they, won't they? But they're at different stages in their life, you know?
Yeah.
Damn, Angry Otter.
Oh, what's he say?
He says his parents were together for 55 years. When his mom passed, his dad got a new girlfriend in 4 months.
Wow.
So not too far-fetched.
Okay, Angry Otter's homework assignment is to watch Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa.
Because in the movie, when Robert De Niro is being taken to task by Zac Efron, he's like, your mother and I, or your grandmother and I talked when she was on her deathbed, and she says, I want you to live life, and boy, I want to go fuck some young people. I want to get that. I want to get that young tail.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, oh man, that 15-year-old's pretty hot.
Okay,
I do
enough of that.
I do appreciate the like realness though of movies done correctly, like sorry, don't cut that.
This was done correctly.
When they let me rephrase. Okay. When they portray the actual reality that we live in film and it's done correctly, it's a very entertaining, I guess, is, I don't know if that's the correct characterization. Engaging, relatable. Yeah. And so this movie is very, I won't say this movie is relatable, but I picture myself like witnessing, like in an like if I was like God, like watching this from an objective point of view and watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, but you were watching.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, I guess I was.
What are you talking about?
I just like the realness of the movie. Like that's what I really enjoyed about, because after I watched it, much like 500 Days of Summer, I was just like, God damn it, that pisses me off, but I love it.
Okay. Heather's got a great observation. She says men later in life are looking for a purse or a nurse, or sometimes both. I've never heard that phrase before, but I like it.
I will start using that in my current vernacular.
Men are looking for a purse.
I'm looking for both right now, to be honest.
What?
Yeah.
No,
I can just never leave bed.
Yeah,
Just
that would be great.
Wash me.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Give me money and food.
But the idea of writing a love letter through a script is, yeah.
I thought it's great.
I thought it filled my heart.
And it backfired on him. Joseph, do you have any scenes that stuck out to you?
When she's breaking down like the editor, they're in the back of that thing, and she's breaking down like, we're gonna have a drone come in here, and then we'll have a camera angle here on the main character.
That was really fun.
And then we're gonna have that and that and that and all these different camera angles as they're driving to her house, as she's moving away, packing up.
And then she's like, we'll lower the shutter speed like Slumdog Millionaire, and then it cuts to that.
Yeah.
I really loved that. I thought it was good.
Yeah, and I mean the split screen, that was very 500 Days of Summer with the whole like reality versus expectations. And then going back to certain sequences in color,
also 500 Days of Summer style.
Yeah. But that scene itself was fun to watch.
There's some good shot choices too in the composition. Like there's when he's sitting down to write the script, and you can see him like out of focus over his camera, and you see his eyes, and the lighting is very dramatic on his eyes. I think there's a lot of things to love about it, and the language is breakneck. The speed is breakneck.
Yes, it is.
Like they're talking fast, so you got to be reading fast.
Yeah, you have to really be focused. That was one thing that I recognized, like when I first started the movie, because I thought I could, like, just be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then I was like, oh, actually,
I'm going to do my job.
Yes, my
Normally,
job.
you're just meandering around the house.
No, I'm not
raking the carpet.
Raking the carpet, yeah. That's what I do.
Staring at birds out the window.
I do like that. I'm like a cat.
Burning nails on the back porch.
I'd like to burn my nails.
How about you watch the movie that re-signed you?
I did watch the movie. I watched it before any of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on accident.
On accident. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on accident.
I wasn't paying attention.
But I think the difference between, because we're comparing it to 500 Days of Summer, I think 500 Days of Summer is a little bit more fantastical and a little bit more dramatic than this
definitely.
movie. This movie feels very grounded. That's the word I was looking for. Is grounded. Yeah. This movie felt very grounded in reality, and that I could see this happening really anywhere where there's an entertainment industry.
Ghana.
And yeah. So I mean,
Can I read some trivia?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
There's no real trivia here, but it did win 7 awards in the Indonesian Oscars, which are called the Piala Citras. And
sounds like a hop.
Nominated, yeah, it does.
The Piala Citras.
Yeah, the old IPA Piala Citra. Yeah. It's an 8% hoppy, juicy IPA. So there was 7 winners. Let's see here, where are we at? There it is. There was 14 nominations, and of those 14 nominations, they won 7.
Okay.
So they won for best screenplay, would make sense. Nominated for best sound, winner for best supporting actor for Alex Abad, which is, let me see who that is. That is the...
Right, it's Alex Abad.
Alex Abad.
Who were you, Alex Abad? Why don't you look at the cast?
Pak Yoram. I don't know who Pak Yoram... Oh, that's the producer. He's the producer. Okay. Winner of the best supporting actress for Sheila Dara Aisha, which is the friend. Best nominated for best editing, nominated for best original score, winner for best original song, winner for best actor, that was the main character, winner for best actress, the main actress, and nominated for best director, but it won best film. So kind of not swept, but damn near.
You know what's interesting about this movie too, I thought, was that they kind of try to portray the producer as being like an asshole. But when you listen to the conversations between the writer and the producer, his arguments kind of make sense because he's the one funding his project. And so like he's like making notes and stuff like that. And they kind of frame him in a way where he's supposed to be like, you know, like I wouldn't say Harvey Weinstein, but like kind of
he's just a slightly out of touch producer.
Yeah, slightly out of touch. That's a great way to put it. And
you're going down a very classic Tyler bootlicking rabbit hole right now.
Oh no, don't stop it.
Don't knock it down when I see where it goes.
I'm just all I'm saying is
saying the guy with all the money is right all the time, every time.
I'm not saying he's right, but like they
has a right to change this guy's art.
They framed it in a
art without commerce is useless, right, Tyler?
Well, I mean, he frames it in a way where the movie frames it in a way where he's supposed to be not likable, but when I was hearing his conversations, like at first I was like, oh yeah, F that guy. Like he's the
money man.
He's the money man, yeah, exactly. And then really exactly, like as the movie progressed on and like as he kept giving him more notes, I was like, you know what, like he's kind of justified, and I mean he's funding this project.
I used to hate Andrew Tate just because of all everything I've heard, and then I listened to some of the podcasts, and I was like, man, that guy is top G.
I don't even know who that is. But I like that. It makes you think like, well, you know, he kind of has a point. Like, you know, there's deadlines to be had, and like you can't just be working on this if I'm giving you like thousands of dollars a week and like giving you a production like it. And then
he's living in poverty. He says, "Hey,
he's living in poverty. He
yes,
has a he has a 2-story freaking apartment."
He says, "Hey, after this, with all this money, you could buy yourself a washing machine." That's what he says at the beginning. Like you could buy yourself a washing machine.
I think that's a figure of speech.
No, he says I have to get home because it rains, so my clothes are going to be wet. He's hanging his clothes to dry.
People hang their clothes to dry all the time.
I see. You want to live? You can live in your ivory tower with a refrigerator and a washing machine and a love sack, all the accoutrements that a sultan would have.
Yeah.
And you're like, this fucking entitled artist coming in here looking for my $12.50 an hour.
I didn't say he was entitled. I'm just saying that the producer does have.
Yeah, it's a good point.
What do you want to buy? What do you want to buy a washing machine? What's next?
I mean,
what's next?
Do people in Indonesia
food?
Isn't washing machines like kind of rare in Indonesia? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now we're really not making it in Indonesia. That's where most of our money comes from.
Is it?
Yeah, like 87 cents of that 92 comes from Indonesia.
I'm just saying like this is why this is a good thought-provoking movie, because it made me think like, okay, well, the people with the money, like, you know, sometimes they should have notes because of their funding it. They can't just like be giving like, you know, money out to like the Neil Breens
of the when Tyler realized what a movie producer does. Wait a second. So they're supposed to give notes about how they want the project to be like in return for the money that they give to the project?
I mean, that's
fascinating.
They're trying to make it as profitable as possible.
Well, I mean, that's the thought-provoking nature of this film. That I was like,
so the thought-provoking part was that you learned about movies
and
how they're made,
and the human
after 5 years of having a movie podcast,
and how producers work.
Well, and the human condition.
And after we've explained to you what an executive producer does.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, like just having it. But, well, you know, I need visuals. I mean, I'm a child at heart. I need pictures.
Anything else you guys want to do? Because we got to wrap up.
Okay.
Anything you want to say?
No. I mean, by the end of it, when it goes back to color and they're both in the grocery store, they've ended up together,
and they're just living
a
happy life.
What was real, what was not real, what was true to like their story actually versus what was just changed or embellished in the like, did she actually have someone who died in her life?
I think so.
Or did he just lift the element from the employee and just put it on her, the character who was her?
I have no reason to believe that she didn't have a husband that died, and I think that what that said to me when you kind of go back and they're just living a normal life that's not fantastical or fairy tale in any way, they're just buying groceries together and holding hands. I was like, it kind of made me feel like they were trying to say,
she got over it.
You can you can learn lessons from movies, but ultimately life is not movies.
Yeah.
Like you can write an 8-sequence script or a 3-act script.
Yeah.
That has a beginning, middle, and end, conflict resolution, denouement, whatever you have that you're gonna write into that script, and then you go, okay, well, this is perfect, and this is exactly like my life. And it's like, it might have elements of it. You might be able. It's like listening to a old Grimm's fairy tale. You could teach kids lessons about and don't talk to strangers, but they're not going to encounter a witch that's going to eat them and cook them into a stove in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
So it's exaggerating for the effect, exaggerating to get the point across, and ultimately they're just two people who found love together later in life, and that's a beautiful thing on its own without the fantastical element of it.
Yeah.
That's how I took it, at least. So
I just thought it was very grounded in reality. And it was
Tyler, give us a grade.
Definitely an A, solid A. Just a very enjoyable movie. I think there's a lot of rewatchability for this movie as well. I think this would be a really great movie to watch with a significant other,
especially if they speak Indonesian.
Right? Yeah. I have a lot of Indonesian partners coming through, so
yeah, I'm sure you do.
Against their will.
Yeah.
Hey. But yeah, solid A, great film. I'm glad that it was chosen.
Cool, awesome. Joseph, grade?
I'm doing A-. All
right.
Yeah, it was a cute, charming little unique story told in not a unique story, a unique way of telling the story and presenting it. And it was kind of fun, like, getting lost in what was not real or what was movie versus what was reality. But yeah, it was just that.
Cool.
It didn't do a whole lot for me emotionally or anything like that, but
how'd Deanna like it?
And she watched like half of it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like she was reading something. Gotcha. And also watching the movie.
She would
go.
It would be impossible.
She would like go in and out of watching the movie versus like reading a book.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there you go.
But yeah, A-.
Okay, cool. I'm going A+. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah,
really loved it. And it was like probably 10 minutes into the movie, I thought this is just like this is going to be like One Cut of the Dead, but with romance instead of zombies. And I loved the comedy back and forth between the producer and the main character with Bagus. Loved the main actress. She was so charming. She's like, it made you want to fall in love with her. And it's like, that's an effective casting choice for that actress.
Much like Cher in Moonstruck.
Oh, tell me about it. So yeah, love the movie. Great recommendation, Joe Bridges, and glad that that was one that we sealed the deal on for this portion of the format of the show.
We bring the boom.
That's right.
Wow, what an end of an era.
That's right.
After 6 years.
So long, folks. We're not coming back.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
Never coming back. And that's it. That's all she wrote. No, we're
so no wheel spinning.
No wheel.
No wheel spinning.
Cut it.
Yep.
No song. No wheel.
Record scratch. How did we get here? 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we have topics, and we've talked about on the show what the next
this genre.
What I said before was like kung fu movies. Okay, so we're gonna do kung fu movies. That is an example, and that would be like I would pick a kung fu movie. Tyler would pick a kung fu movie. Joseph would pick a kung fu movie, and then we get one from the Patreon.
Yes.
Probably from the cool ass yard duties, I would imagine.
Hopefully.
I would imagine that we'll probably instead of having a movie to review of any genre or anything, we just basically tap the cool ass yard duties and say, kung fu's the next topic. Who's got a good kung fu movie? Maybe have them vote on it.
Yeah.
You guys throw out some movies, vote on that, or you guys go throw out all the different options that you guys have, and we'll pick one between the three of us. We got 3 for a vote, so it's easy, no tiebreaker sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
We don't quite 100% know. We have a bunch of versions of that, but we're gonna discuss it a little bit further, and then next week we're gonna kind of reveal what the first topic is, because
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So no movie review
next week.
Yeah.
We're gonna do because the next week is the last weekend of March, and then we're gonna go into April. April will be our first subject.
Great.
Yeah, so it'll be exciting. And then on the top of that too, I still have
a wheel.
No, still have all these movies to give away.
And
we originally were like, let's do that to pump the numbers up with the YouTube, and it ended up being really hard because, somebody won one or two of these movies, and I reached out to them, was like, hey, do you want this thing? I commented on the whatever, hey, so and so, you won. It's some random YouTube user, and they never fucking got back to me. It's like you can't direct message on YouTube.
They gave you the hi-hat?
They don't have their emails. Like you can't see their emails of
there's no message
based off of the user ID or whatever. So I don't know how really more to do with this, but I think we should just give these away to the cool ass yard duties.
Yeah,
ultimately,
I agree.
I think that's what it is, and I got some really good ones here. So,
We make them fight.
Planet of the Apes trilogy, Army of Darkness, Steelbook, Godzilla vs. Kong, The Watchmen Ultimate Cut, Dune Part 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Those are all 4K, and then we have Annihilation Arrival 2-pack Blu-ray and Batman Begins Blu-ray.
Is there any way we can get the yard duties to fight in a cage match?
Maybe a virtual cage match. But then we may be in
Smash Bros tournament.
We may be encroaching on different territories for binge movies, because he has the Beach Brawl and the Summer Slam, and all those are his competitions that he does at the end of each season.
We could do the thing like in Flash Gordon, where they have the spiral, and they have a whip fight.
Whip fight, hell yeah. Heather says, no one's fighting for your entertainment, Tyler.
Why not?
Yeah, we just want to give it away just to the people who have been staunch supporters of the show. So, I'll probably put a message out on Patreon and just say, hey, who wants what? First come, first serve, essentially, because I want to give these away to some people. And Jason Kleberg from Force 5 Podcast, no longer on social media, does not promote online anymore because he doesn't want to be on social media anymore. But he's basically opened his Patreon up as a no-charge Patreon. Anybody can join it, and he's basically just like a subsection of this movie community, and he's giving away DVDs there just to basically people who are interacting with the post and saying, hey, who wants to, I do. Put me in or whatever, and he's giving away DVDs. These are just the good ones. I have a shit ton of DVDs that I'm willing to give away. Oh yeah, Heather says, if anything, you should fight for us. Just saying, and just Tyler.
Tyler, what? Who would he fight? Just
fight
himself?
myself?
No, we're gonna put you out and just get random people out in the public to fight you.
People are gonna
just walk
fight
around
me.
with Tyler like Billy on the street. Like, you want to fight this man?
Yeah. Oh, if you fight this man, I'll give you a copy of Batman Begins on Blu-ray.
Fine.
It's like that scene in Fight Club where he's like, your homework assignment, I want you to start a fight.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that sequence of events. It's so good.
Yeah, Colt McGallany is one of the guys in that. He's the guy from Mindhunters, and the dad from the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
I think in his one he sprays the priest and like
Yeah,
steps
he
on
spray-
his-
yeah.
I think he's the one that sprays the priest.
I think that's him.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
It's been a while since I've seen Fight Club.
So anyway, so that's going to be next week. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about it. We'll kind of get it solidified, whatever. We'll put a post out onto the Patreon. And then I'll probably send an email off to everyone on the Patreon and just say, hey, check your messages because we got some activity on there. We're generally not very active on Patreon. So I don't want anybody to miss out that doesn't check it regularly.
Yeah.
So I'll send a message out after we send that post and we'll get some good interaction. We'll get some feedback from the classmates and we'll come back fresh in April with a completely new format. It'll be exciting. Maybe we'll redo the little borders on the stream too.
Yeah,
do something different because we've had that since pretty much day one. That was the Joseph edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Graphic design Joseph.
Yep.
So, anything else you guys wanted to say before we close out?
Your apprehension speaks volumes.
No. I had this new drop. I don't know why I wanted to add this, but
Please,
I don't know what context to use it for. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what we use that for, too, but I like it. All right, cool. So let's close it out. Thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Heather in the chat, Michael in the chat, Javier, Steven, and Chris. If you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so going over to patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass or just watch on YouTube and share with a friend who likes movies or likes listening to people talk about movies.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time. Thank you for listening to us talk about falling in love like in movies. Follow us next week as we do some gab and chatter. Maybe we'll have some long form stuff. We'll have more time to talk about things we're watching since we won't have a movie to review.
And then we'll figure out what we're going to talk about for the next month.
Yeah, absolutely. So follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class.
And follow us on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
That's it. We'll see you guys next time. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.